Hi, Mike. Joe Garcia here, doing the research on your business in your GMB. And so I Googled Michael and Pings, and you show up in various sites, Yelp, menu pages, etc. As long as these guys don't, well, this is your website. As long as these guys don't delete you, you'll always show up on the internet. So by changing the name on your GMB, they won't affect these other searches. What will happen is um, when somebody Googles Michael and Pings, this will show up. This won't show up if you get rid of the GMB or if you change the name, because GMB is name driven. And when somebody searches for a name, um, you'll have these listings show up. And so that's something to think about. You've been established for, you said 10 years. I don't know when you built your GMB. You've got 96 reviews, and something that you can't really do nothing about when you're doing SEO is time. That's one factor for search engine optimization for SEO is time. If you've been around for a long time on the internet, you've got an advantage over other like businesses or businesses like yours. And so my recommendation is to leave this alone because it's got the age factor, and people will continue to find you. Um, so on your GMB, um, to list other businesses in that address, just go in here and add a line, and then add a suite A or one or unit A or one. Just do something here where the post office, you just notify the post office that you have unit A, which would be Guana's Kitchen. Um, so let's see here. Yeah, Gowanus Kitchen. So I would do that. I would go into um, your GMB and add a location there. Um, the other thing that you can also do is add an additional name, you know, at the kitchen here in the front. And I want to misspell it. So this is just a. I'm not gonna change it. Obviously, you need to be okay with that. But so do something like this, and Pizza Bruno. Okay, you can do that. Um, the implication of doing this would be that I put a dash here or something like that. So that would be like the change. Okay, so that's another option. Let me take this off and put it back to where it was originally. Just cancel this whole thing. Um, so if you did that, if you changed the names to the kitchen and you added the pizza to this, then you'd have to change the categories here. You'd have to go uh, add additional categories, pizza, and I don't know if you're gonna add more restaurants to the kitchen, to the concept you created, but you would have to just kind of move this around. The How SEO works, as you already, I'm sure you know, is by people Googling keywords like, in your case, Chinese food. If I'm near your location somewhere, if I'm near Third Avenue, um, is that the same address you have here? Hmm. Yeah, Third Avenue. So if I'm near Third Avenue, if I Google Chinese food, you're gonna pop up. You're gonna be one of the restaurants that pops up. And the more uh, age your GMB has and your website, and the more you're listing on site, these are citations. We call them citations because you're cited on various places. on the internet. So the more citations you have, you know, the if you have a great website where you have a lot of keywords, you'll show up. And so what's going to happen when you add a name in front of this, um, and you add other categories like pizza in your categories, pizza. Um, so then, what you don't want to do is confuse Google, because all along this has been known as a Chinese restaurant. Now you can add pizza to this listing. And so those are the implications of adding a name to this. The other implication and the reason why Google doesn't allow two businesses in one address is because of the same thing. Because, see, Google wants to be the source for people going to look for information. They want to be the only ones. They don't want you to go to Bing or Yahoo or any other search engine. They want you to go to Google, and they want to be accurate. So if I have two businesses in the same address, that's confusing to the search engine, and that's confusing to the consumer. And so they want to make sure that their information is accurate. So now you're gonna have a pizza place in a Chinese restaurant, and so they're not um, they won't go along with that, because again, it's not consistent to what they want to provide to the consumer. They want to provide accurate information, and that will confuse them. So adding the address and adding unit A, suite B, suite A, whatever suite you want to call it, to that address, then that's more probable. That's common when you have a building and you have several suites in a building, and that makes more sense to Google. That's what you need to do to avoid suspension. Um, excuse me. So I would recommend doing that, because this is established and it's doing pretty well from what I can see, and um, and you don't want to confuse Google. You don't want to confuse the consumer as to what services are provided at this location. Um, if you want to change it altogether and just make it like a food court, or like a food hall, like you said, a food hall, then change it. Then change it to the food hall concept, or a food court, and just change this name to Kiwanis Kitchen, and then the categories add Chinese, pizza, etc., whatever you want to add. And so now this would be known as the kitchen listing, not as Michael&pings. So that would be the other concept, just changing this to um, Guana's Kitchen, and then you can leave the name here, and you can add the Pizza Bruno like I showed you earlier, and then that shouldn't hurt it. But again, it's the search engines that you don't want to confuse. And I don't know how much business you're doing, in terms of the Chinese food sales. But if I Google Chinese food and I'm in Brooklyn near your place, but now I added pizza to this category, how well is Google going to separate me from the other searches? And obviously, you want to be found for a specific product, and the more specific you are, the greater the chance you have of being found. So if you just want to be found as a food court, or a kitchen that serves food, then that's what you'll be found for. But again, somebody looking for Chinese food is going to find you here. I hope it makes sense. I hope I'm not rambling too much and confusing you, but I think it's important to just know the implications of the different changes you want to make, and uh, what they will mean at the end of the day overall when people go searching for your product. And so there are your different options, and I can help you make the changes if you want to change this. If you want to do it yourself, I just show you how to do it. Same thing with this. Okay. Um, and I think that's it. I don't know if you're gonna have a website to uh, Guana's Kitchen and Pizza Bruno, but if you are, then you probably want to do individual GMBs because you can only have one website here. And yeah, I think maybe a separate GMB would be the ideal with suite A, suite B. All right, Mike, hope this helps. Let me know if I can be of further assistance. Thanks.